I recently learned about the dangers of fluoride on Twitter, but I was always skeptical. Why would a government allow the dumping of poison in our water, then call it beneficial to our health? It was beyond me. I thought there was no way this could be happening. Then I realized it was happening, so then I thought, well, it must not be bad for you, and it can't be put in Hamilton's water. Then an article came out by Hamilton scientists, Harvard scientists. They said that fluoride lowers your IQ by 15 points. So I did some research, and it turns out that fluoride is actually in our Hamilton water, our drinking water. Now, people always wonder how the people of Nazi Germany took everything that Hitler did. They went along with it. They were being fluoridated. They say Hitler added 3 parts per million to the fluoride. We get 0.6 of a millimeter here in Hamilton. But the truth is there's no real moderation of this. They just dump it in. Can you let the listeners know just how much fluoride is regulated in Hamilton, and do you think it's possible that we could be getting Nazi level of fluoride?
Sure. Right now, like you said, it's 0.6 ppm of fluoride in the Hamilton tap water. So that's not, it's a little bit less, quite a bit less than what the Nazis have been said to use. Now, it was a Dr. Charles Perkins who mentioned the use of fluoride by the Nazis. That hasn't been confirmed by any other source, so it is possible, but it is not 100%. Any kind of links to programs like what the Nazis did, we can see them here in Canada. Back in 1945, when it was started in Brantford, Ontario, the head medical officer of health, Dr. W.L. Hutton, was also the president of the Eugenics Society of Canada. He's the one that oversaw the addition of fluoride to Canada's tap water. And as for neurological development, you mentioned the Harvard study, which shows that it lowers IQ. And there's also been a newer study come out from the Lancet that shows they've added it to a list of neurotoxins, saying that it could be adding to autism rates, ADHD rates, and a whole host of other learning disabilities. So there are signs that it is having a negative impact on our brain. There's signs of negative impacts on bones, soft tissues like the pineal gland, the thyroid gland. There's a whole host of issues that if you go online and do a search, you can find the peer-reviewed studies for.
So what's the motive here? Is it just bad science, or do they have an agenda here? Because Health Canada, they don't even regulate it. It's not even in the Canadian Food and Drug Act. It's not even in the Food Natural Health Product Regulations. So what's the motive here?
Well, the motive, in my opinion, from my research, is the source of the fluoride is the phosphate fertilizer industries. For them to dispose of the fluoride, that their production, the side effect of their production, it would cost them millions and millions of dollars. They've now turned that negative impact on their business into a profit. They're selling it to all the cities across North America. So they've turned a cost into a profit.
Right.
Here in Hamilton, we're spending in upwards of $1 million a year to purchase and implement the fluoridation. So think of that in large scale. 70% of North America and 60% of Canada fluoridates.
Right. So fluoride was originally used for crops and pesticides in crops, and when they process it, they get this byproduct in a liquid form.
What happened back in the 70s, it was going out into the air through the smokestacks, and it was killing all the animals in nature around the factories. So what they did was they put scrubbers into the smokestacks, collected it as a liquid. They store it in pools, barrel it up, and sell it to our cities.
I noticed when the delivery guys make the delivery to I live right down the street from the water plant on Woodward, and when they make the delivery, they have the full chem suits on, and they just dump it in the water, and they need protection from it. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that you need to protect yourself so much and then just dump something in the water that everybody drinks and consumes.
Actually, in Illinois, they had a spill, and it ate through the concrete. So I'm going to pass it over to Frank here to explain the kind of fluoride that they're using.
I just want to make a correction. Actually, fluoride is in the Food and Drugs Act. Fluoride and its salts, stannous fluoride, which is used in toothpaste. But the type of fluoride that they're using is hydrofluorosilicic acid. It's got different synonyms, flowsilicic acid, hexafluorosilicic acid. It's all the same stuff.
And that has co-contaminants of arsenic, lead, and mercury in it, right?
Yes, it does. The popular company that produces it is from Florida. We got here hang on here, a quality certificate, and it says that it's got 46.75 parts per million of arsenic contaminated with it. So hydrofluorosilicic acid, you know, it's got a material safety data sheet that the Woodward Water Treatment Plant has. The WMIS number is 000603888. And the chemical family, right on the material safety data sheet issued by WMIS, is called inorganic fluoride. Well, under the Canadian Environmental Protection Act list of toxic substances, Schedule 1, number 40 lists inorganic fluorides as toxic substances. So the hydrofluorosilicic acid is not in the Food and Drugs Act, so it's not considered a drug legally, but it is considered a toxic substance legally. And under the criminal code, you know, it says you cannot administer people toxic substances. It's a noxious substance. So in essence, they are actually contravening the criminal code here. But if you want to get into some stuff, I spoke with the plant manager at Woodward Water Treatment Plant. I forget his name. But he straight up told me that they do not defluoridate the water as they allow it back into the lake. Well, right here, I find that extremely bizarre because right here in the material safety data sheet, it says harmful to aquatic life at low concentrations. And also it says it can be dangerous if allowed to enter drinking water intakes. It says do not contaminate domestic or irrigation water supplies, lakes, streams, ponds, or rivers. It says right there.
So there's poison in the water.
So they're poisoning us. And even in the material safety data sheet, you know, it says right here, I'll read it right from the material safety data sheet. Fluoride is a bone seeker, and excessive amounts will produce weakening and degeneration of the bone structure. Chronic exposure may cause excess accumulation of fluorosis in the teeth and bones, severe fluorosis in children, weakened tooth enamel, resulting in surface pitting.
So there's poison in the water. We're going to come back to talk about this more after a few PSAs.
Development resource.